I, F45, just found out our son, M19, got into his dream college but he can't go. Closing parenthesis. Our son has gone through a lot recently and my husband and I would really love some suggestions on what to do. My son has a 6-month-old baby with his ex-girlfriend, 17. She got kicked out because she was pregnant, so she moved in with him. That was until she decided to leave and move back home. She left us a note saying that she was sorry and we haven't gotten a hold of her since. My son has been working 2 jobs and it's taken a rough toll on him. My husband and I watch the baby sometimes and there are days when he comes home to pick up the baby and he's completely drained. I was cleaning and I found a note in one of the drawers. I realized it was written by my son and I didn't realize how bad things really were. It detailed him getting into an amazing school. Didn't know he applied to college again. But he can't go because he has a baby. It made me cry like no other. My baby is suffering. And it's even worse that he's doing it in silence. When we found out that his girlfriend was pregnant, we told him that we were here. But don't expect us to take over. But now I'm torn. I just want him to be happy. Right now he has no degree, works 2 low-paying jobs, and is struggling a lot mentally and physically. He just got accepted into one of the best universities for STEM and has a chance to change his path right now. But he does have a child. I just really want to talk about it. Even though he said he was not going in his note. I would like to add that my husband and I are completely willing to take in our grandchild, but it all comes down to whether or not our son will allow us to help. I love the both of them deeply and will never deny help to my son when he is clearly in distress. Damn, really rough spot he's in. Since you said you're torn now, I guess it's time to reevaluate exactly how much help you're willing to give. Obviously being able to get a degree would be a huge improvement to his life and your grandchild's life. But I'm sure he would need a lot of assistance to make that happen. This degree will give him what he needs to be truly independent and happy with his child in the future. Please help your son to achieve this dream. It's the difference between happiness and despair. Under the assumption that you're in the US. First, see if he's able to go to school online. At least at first, now that he's got a child. He's officially independent on his FOFSA. So he can qualify for more financial aid than he would have before baby. There's scholarships out there specifically for single parents. In this era, he should at least be able to get the gen eds out of the way. Math, science, foreign language, ECT, online. Can he move back home with you? My future was derailed by having a child. I received no help from the father and very little from my parents. I had been accepted to a good school but I couldn't go. I love my daughter but I have struggled every day of her life because I couldn't get ahead. If you have the chance to help your son, and by extension, your grandchild, please do. Both of them will be better off in the future if you do. You will be happier knowing your son and grandchild are not struggling. It's so hard to be a parent and even harder when you have a bleak future. Did she sign away her rights? Son can still get child support from her. Sit down and tell him you are willing to help him out. I think you should help him if you can. I understand it's not fair that you and your husband would have to take on a caregiver role for your grandchild, and I do think your son should not be completely absolved of his parenting duties. I.e. summers, breaks, holidays he comes home with his child. But this can be life-changing for both him and your grandchild. I wouldn't let my kid go out partying and ducking responsibility. But I would make allowances for school, especially STEM field, because you know there are great paying jobs out there. And work. Good luck, op. When we found out that his girlfriend was pregnant, we told him that we were here, but don't expect us to take over. I think the way you've phrased this has left him thinking he has to do everything himself and go autopilot more on 2 jobs and taking care of his baby. You really must reconsider this and help him as much as you can. Make up an excuse that he'll pay you back or something. If pride is the issue, if you and your husband literally can't watch the kid enough, that's another story. Making him work hard is different than making him suffer. I think you should him. If you can and since you want to. He's not entitled to your help, but I'm sure he would be very glad to have it, since he's already depressed, possibly too exhausted to talk or make a plan. Maybe you could come to him with a plan. Talk to your husband. Maybe talk to the college. Check if they offer accommodations. Could you take care of the baby? How much financial support can you offer? Is there daycare? Figuring out the messy questions of life for him might really help him, because he probably doesn't have the mental capacity for that right now. He is stuck. I doubt he has even done therapy. I think he is in automatic pilot, working 2 jobs, taking care of a baby, and not thinking. You should sit down and, if you have the option of supporting him so that he goes to a local college, university, then offer to do that. He only studies and takes care of the baby. Who watches the baby when you don't? That's confusing. Another option is to really have a conversation and ask if he has thought about adoption. I'm sure he loves the baby, but is he really financially, mentally able to raise a kid? At least he really tried, and the baby could be raised by a family that's prepared and able. A final option is that he goes to this college and you raise the baby, at least until he graduates. By then, the baby would be close to going to preschool. My only worry about this option is that I don't know if he is mentally prepared to be away. He needs a lot of therapy to process everything. I see a lot of first-year college students with mental health issues, so if he is not in a good head space, going far away is not a good idea. If mom abandoned baby, go after her for child support. No different than a man. You can't just bail financially on a baby you made, even if you aren't willing to be a part of their lives socially. Wait, I'm confused. Did mom just abandon the baby with your son? When we found out that his girlfriend was pregnant, we told him that we were here, but don't expect us to take over. Now you know he listened and really is doing his best with the resources he has and not relying on you for everything. You know he won't take you for granted if you do this huge thing for him so he can have a better future. Put the girl on child support, help your son go to college. You should really help him if you can. It will be for 4 years. Get a contract in place regarding rules, like no more kids, X for GPA, has to get a part-time job while in school, etc. Don't have him throw his life away. This can potentially help him and his child in the long run. If you can take your grandchild while your son makes a better life for them both, it's worth it. Please go after her for child support. If you're willing to help now more than you initially told him, you need to communicate this to him. He's probably not asking because he's operating under the assumption that what you told him initially still holds. Best of luck with everything. I think if you can temporarily take over raising the baby so he can go to school, then you should do it. He could get himself into a better position and set himself and his child up for the future.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.